October the 13th, tree colours in mid-October. The most dramatic period of colour change in the whole year occurs in mid-October. A calm, sunny period is to be hoped for, so that leaves fall slowly and silently from trees, and their colours have had time to develop fully. In 1981, the Great Hurricane occurred in October, instantly removing this entire spectacle. The landscape on the outskirts of London seems to change very little during this part of the month, as so many of our wild trees are late to colour, with the exception of our wild cherries and field maples. However, in London streets, parks and gardens, quite the reverse is true, as so many strains, hybrids and cultivars of trees have been bred by gardeners for maximum autumn impact. Stag's horn sumac, Cappadocian maples, and cockspur thorns continue to remain colourful, with the latter even producing leaves that can be completely scarlet one side of the midrib and yet egg yolk yellow on the other. Japanese maples often have highly coloured petioles and other bright colours at the edges of their wing seeds. In contrast, the leaves of the common maple and the sycamore are just getting more and more blotched in appearance and may even by now have dried withered edges. Many common horse chestnuts look even uglier now due to leaf miner infestations, although trees less affected manage to turn either a nut brown or a tawny yellow. There is also now a general yellowing of many different elms and limes. This makes lime avenues, such as the one in Syon Park, almost as attractive as they were when their leaves first emerged in the spring. Small amounts of yellow are creeping into many birches and white beams. Some hornbeams are already the colour of mustard. Rather than yellowing, trees such as acacias, nettle trees, and various willows, as well as poplars, just tend to get more dappled in appearance. Poplars vary a lot in this respect, some getting dappled, all over in yellow and green, whilst others turn a pale bronze, and even rows of identical Lombardy poplars can look inexplicably quite different from each other. Red horse chestnuts continue to exhibit some unusual bronze, metallic colours, but occasionally raspberries and cream are included. The brightest and most attractive colours that tend to get noticed at this time are produced by the cherries, sweetgums, and Japanese maples. Other impressive trees worth seeking out are white beams in Ruskin Park, hickories in Greenwich Park, the golden birch in the Isabella plantation, and the pride of India facing the main gate at Abney Park Cemetery. There is a staggering number of hybrids and cultivars of cherries. The most colourful ones we see now are often crosses between Sargent's cherry, Prunus sargentii, and the Yoshino cherry, Prunus yedoensis. These hybrids are capable of producing every shade of imaginable of pink, red, brown, green, orange, rose, and pink. Several different shades can even be found on a single leaf. For many, the Sargent's cherry is the most beautiful autumn cherry of all. Professor Sargent found it on the island of Yezo in Japan in 1892, where it was called Oyamazakura, or the Great Mountain Cherry. Hybrids with the Yoshino cherry, such as Pandora, Hirieri, and Dudii, are all very popular. Other cherries we see derived from the Fuji cherry, Prunus incisa, tend to have more oranges and crimsons, and Hokusai, originally selected by Captain Ingram, or Cherry Ingram as he was called, is another favourite. Some of the best coloured forms have been collected together in the Sabo Gardens. Rarer cherries noticed for their leaf colours include the bright red sand cherries, Prunus pumila, and Prunus bezii, as well as the Korean hill cherry, Prunus vericunda, which can be found in Syon Park. Even the overplanted milky spires of accolade go a copper yellow now, and the equally popular Shirafugen turns a deep copper yellow. Some of the purple-leaved cherries also turn the colour of porphyry. Meanwhile, our own native wild cherry, Prunus avium, along the sides of the North Downs, where it gets enough light, manages a reputable amount of crimsons and even perhaps a few golds. Sweetgums, liquid amber, come from North America and are famous for their autumn reds, so much so they have almost become obligatory street planting in some boroughs. Depending on how much light they get, they can vary a great deal from top to bottom. Lower down the tree, the leaves often remain green and yellow, whereas the top develops a range of reds, crimsons, and even chocolate brown. West Ham Park, boasting 42 different cultivars, is the obvious place to pick your favourite. Other than sweetgums, trees famous for producing the fall colours in North America include the sumacs, dogwoods, cherries, spindles, maples, tupelos, red oaks, and smoke trees, sassafras, and the sorrel tree, oxydendron. Many of these are common enough in London streets and parks, but the rarer tupelo, sassafras, and oxydendron all can be found in Cannizaro Park. Oxley Park has a collection of American oaks, and Hyde Park some rare limes, as well as Chinese Tuna sinensis, with its strange-smelling leaves. The rare Stuartia and yellowwood, Cladestris, can both be found in Syon Park. All these trees are known for their autumn colours. Capel Manor and Holland Park are both good places to see a selection of Japanese maples, although one of the best is the almost fluorescent red Osakazuki, which is common enough in London's front gardens. A lot of rare trees, especially rare oaks, maples, birches, elms, willows, and poplars, can be very troublesome to accurately identify. Their slightly different colouring at this time of year can make them much easier to find and occasionally greatly help in their identification. There are a vast number of different rowans and whitebeams, Sorba species, many of which have also now started to change colour. It is the fiery red rowans we notice most, but the popular bastard tree, Sorbus times syringiaca, is a cross which seems to have everything needed for a perfect autumn display. It can turn a totally uniform marmalade orange and at the same time be covered in scarlet berries, both of which contrast perfectly against its silvery bark. Our wildest Sorbus species also show some colour. In fact, the wild service tree, Sorbus terminalis, arguably produces the best colours of all our native trees. Sadly, it has all but disappeared from woods, possibly due to charcoal burners, but it can still be found in coal wood, Madbest wood, and Friant Country Park. Its confusing sister, the true service tree, Sorbus domestica, was at one time thought to be native, but is now best regarded as a southern European cousin. It has quite different pinnate leaves compared to the maple-like leaf of Sorbus terminalis, and is now hesitantly developing some yellows and reds. Both can be found growing together in Holland Park, and both produce berries that were made into a drink used by Victorians to cure writing pains. Quite removed from all these colour changes are many magnolias, willows, planes, alders, hazels, the dove tree, and Judas tree, all of which remained largely unchanged. Most ashes, apart from the claret ash, change very little before they lose their leaves. Yet in contrast, dawn redwoods and some swamp cypresses can be towers of rust one day and bare the next. Sizable specimens of both these two last trees can be seen growing beside each other in Battersea Park.